I have been married to my wife Emma for almost 12 years now. When we met, she had a 6-year-old son, Tyler, from her previous marriage. Emma's ex-husband Mark had already moved across the country with his new girlfriend by then and barely maintained any contact with Tyler. From the beginning, I tried my best to be a good stepfather. I attended every school event, taught him how to ride a bike, helped with homework, and was there for every milestone in his life. I never tried to replace his biological father, but I wanted Tyler to know he could count on me. Emma and I never had children of our own, so Tyler became my focus. The early years were good. Tyler was a sweet kid who seemed to appreciate having a stable male figure in his life. We would go fishing together, play catch in the backyard, and I coached his little league team for 3 seasons. I truly began to think of him as my son, even though I was careful to never push that label. Things started changing when Tyler hit his teenage years. I expected some rebellion. That's normal, but what happened went beyond typical teenage angst. He became increasingly distant and sometimes downright hostile toward me. At first, I chalked it up to hormones and tried to give him space while still maintaining reasonable boundaries. Around the time Tyler turned 16, his biological father Mark suddenly decided he wanted to be part of his life again. Mark would call occasionally and even visited twice a year, always bringing expensive gifts and making grand promises about trips and experiences they would share. Of course, most of these promises never materialized, but they painted Mark as the fun dad, while I remained the disciplinarian who enforced curfews, expected good grades, and insisted on chores being done. The situation came to a head last month. Tyler is now 18 and in his senior year of high school. He's been applying to colleges, including several expensive private universities. One evening, I asked him to take out the trash before dinner, a simple, routine request. He ignored me and continued playing on his phone. When I asked again, he exploded. "You're not my real dad," he shouted. "You have no right to tell me what to do. Mark is my father, not you." I tried to remain calm. "Tyler, I've been raising you for the past 12 years. I'm just asking you to do your chore." That's when he looked me straight in the eyes and said the words that felt like a knife to my heart. "You are nothing to me. You are nobody." Emma witnessed the whole exchange but remained silent, which hurt almost as much as Tyler's words. Later that night, we had a heated argument about her failure to stand up for me or our family rules. The following weeks were tense in our household. Tyler barely spoke to me, and Emma kept suggesting I should be the bigger person and just let it go. "He's a teenager," she would say. "They say hurtful things they don't mean." But I couldn't shake the feeling that Tyler had revealed his true feelings about me, and that Emma was choosing to excuse his behavior rather than address it. I had always planned to pay for Tyler's college education. In fact, I'd been saving since he was 7 years old, setting aside a significant portion of my income every month. I'd never made a big deal about it because I didn't want Tyler to feel indebted to me. I just wanted to give him a good start in life. About 3 weeks after our confrontation, the acceptance letters started arriving. Tyler got into several schools, including his dream college, a prestigious private university with a price tag of nearly $70,000 per year. That evening at dinner, he actually spoke directly to me for the first time in weeks. "I got into Westmore University," he announced, sliding the acceptance letter across the table. "I need the deposit by next month." The casual entitlement in his voice struck me. There was no excitement about sharing his achievement with me, no gratitude for the years of support that had helped him reach this point. Just an expectation that I would foot the bill. Emma beamed with pride. "That's wonderful, honey. We'll get that deposit in right away, won't we?" She looked at me expectantly. I took a deep breath. "Congratulations on getting accepted, Tyler. That's a great accomplishment." Tyler barely acknowledged my praise, already scrolling through his phone. Emma continued talking about campus visits and dorm options, but my mind was elsewhere. I kept hearing Tyler's words. "You are nothing to me. You are nobody." Later that night, after Tyler had gone out with friends, I sat Emma down for a serious conversation. "I've been thinking about Tyler's college tuition," I began carefully. "I know it's expensive," Emma said, "but your business has been doing well, and we've been saving. We'll make it work." "That's just it, Emma. I've been saving. I've put away nearly $180,000 for Tyler's education, but I'm having second thoughts about using it." Emma's expression shifted from confusion to alarm. "What are you talking about?" "Tyler made it very clear that I'm not his father and have no place in his life. He has a real father. Maybe Mark should contribute to his education." "Mark," Emma scoffed. "You know he barely makes child support payments. He can't afford college tuition. That's not really my problem, though, is it? According to Tyler, I'm nobody. Why would nobody pay for his college?" Emma's face flushed with anger. "You can't be serious. You're punishing him for something he said when he was angry." "I'm not punishing him," I replied. "I'm respecting his wishes. He doesn't want me acting like his father, so I won't." That includes financial support for college. This is ridiculous, Emma snapped. You've been in his life for 12 years. You can't just withdraw your support because your feelings are hurt. My feelings aren't just hurt, Emma. I've been disrespected and dismissed in my own home, and you've allowed it. You've even encouraged it by making excuses for his behavior instead of holding him accountable. The argument escalated quickly, with Emma accusing me of being petty and vindictive, while I maintained that I was simply honoring the boundaries Tyler had established. We went to bed angry, the issue unresolved. The next day, I asked both Emma and Tyler to sit down for a family meeting. Tyler rolled his eyes, but sat reluctantly at the kitchen table, while Emma looked anxious about what I might say. Tyler, I began, congratulations again on your acceptance to Westmore. It's a great school, and you should be proud of yourself. He nodded curtly, clearly waiting for me to get to the point. I want to be clear about the financial situation for college, I continued. Given our recent conversations about my role in your life, I've made a decision. I won't be paying for your tuition at Westmore or any other university. Tyler's eyes widened in shock, and Emma started to interject, but I held up my hand. Let me finish. For the past 12 years, I've put money aside every month for your education. That money exists, and it's substantial, enough to cover most of your undergraduate expenses at Westmore. I slid a folder across the table containing bank statements for the college fund. However, as you've made it clear that I'm not your father and have no right to make decisions regarding your life, I don't feel it's appropriate for me to assume this financial responsibility either. You have a father, and while I understand he hasn't been consistently present, perhaps it's time for him to step up. This is bullshit. Tyler exploded, pushing back from the table. You're just trying to manipulate me. I'm not manipulating you, Tyler. I'm taking you at your word. You said I'm nothing to you, and I'm respecting that boundary. Nothing means nothing, not just when it's convenient for you. Emma was furiously wiping away tears. You can't do this. It's cruel. What's cruel? I replied calmly. Is allowing someone to invest 12 years of their life, heart, and resources into raising a child, only to be told they're nobody. What's cruel is watching your partner fail to defend that relationship. I turned back to Tyler, whose anger seemed to be giving way to panic as the reality of the situation sank in. Here's what I propose. The money is still there, and I'm willing to use it for your education, but some things need to change. First, a sincere apology, not just for what you said that night, but for the months of disrespect before that. Second, family counseling for all three of us. And third, you need to understand that being a family means mutual respect. I've never tried to replace your biological father, but I have been the one who showed up every day. That counts for something. The room fell silent. Tyler stared at the table, his jaw clenched. Finally, Emma spoke. Tyler, what your stepdad is asking for is reasonable. He's been there for you in ways your father never was. Tyler looked up, his eyes glistening. So what? I just have to say sorry and everything's fixed? No, I said. An apology is just the beginning. We need to rebuild trust and respect. It won't happen overnight. 3 days passed with Tyler barely speaking to either of us. On the fourth day, he knocked on my office door. He looked like he hadn't slept well. Can we talk? He asked quietly. We sat down, and after a moment of uncomfortable silence, Tyler spoke. I called my dad, Mark, about helping with college. He gave a bitter laugh. He said he's expecting a baby with his girlfriend and can't afford to help me. He suggested community college. I waited, letting him continue at his own pace. I'm sorry, he finally said, his voice cracking. What I said to you was horrible. You've been more of a father to me than he ever was. I was just, I don't know, angry and confused. It wasn't the most eloquent apology, but I could see it was genuine. Thank you for saying that, I replied. It means a lot. We talked for nearly 2 hours that afternoon, really talked, perhaps for the first time in years. About his feelings toward his biological father, about my role in his life, about expectations and boundaries. It wasn't perfect, and we had a long way to go, but it was a start. The next day, I called a family therapist and scheduled our first appointment. And that evening, I showed Tyler the details of his college fund and promised that, as long as we kept working on our relationship, the money would be there for his education. Sometimes it takes a hard boundary to rebuild respect. It wasn't an easy decision, but looking back, I believe it was the right one for all of us.